What began as a routine hunt in Alaska's unforgiving wilderness quickly spiraled away into a nightmarish encounter beyond belief, as they found the actual Bigfoot hunters. Led by Native American tracker Sam Longfoot, ventured into the Tongass National Forest with one goal: to bring down a colossal 1,000-pound grizzly bear. Was it Bigfoot, the elusive creature of legend, hiding in other dense woods? Join us as we dive into the heart-stopping discovery that left even these seasoned hunters questioning reality. Shadowy figure in the forest. Grizzly hunting is not for the faint of heart. The dangers are real, and even the smallest mistake can lead to fatal consequences. Experienced hunters know that when you're face to face with a charging bear, every second counts. Take the case of a gun malfunction during a grizzly charge away from just 70 feet away. Only the quick thinking of a nearby guide saved the day. But on this particular hunt, as the hunters ventured deeper into the forest, they realized they weren't alone. A towering, shadowy figure loomed just into their camp. Could it be the mythical creature that's been haunting stories for generations? The truth behind what they found is even more dramatic than anyone could have imagined. And what happened next? You won't believe your eyes. The guide leading this particular trip was a seasoned expert, known for tracking and catching the biggest bears around. Their daily routine involved traveling from their main sheepway into the heart of bear territory and returning each evening until they spotted their targets. The forest, always moist and dimly lit, was carpeted with a thick layer of green moss that silenced their footsteps as well as the of any bears lurking nearby. This often led to a tense atmosphere where it felt like the roles of hunter and hunted could switch in an instant. From the get-go, they found fresh, large bear tracks, unnoticeable claw marks on trees, clear signs of a nearby bigger bear. When it started pouring, they decided to head back since rain could mask critical sounds, making it dangerous to continue. The rain didn't let up, forcing them to stay on their ship longer than planned. When the weather cleared, they ventured back into the wet forest, their boots sinking into the moss with every step. The bear tracks they encountered were alarmingly large, indicating the presence of a massive bear. The dense foliage limited their line of sight, adding to their anxiety knowing a huge grizzly could be just feet away without them seeing it. As they pushed deeper into the woods, they stumbled upon a new set of tracks, huge and unmistakably not from a bear. It dawned on them they were now tracking something as intriguing as it was frightening: a Sasquatch. This unexpected turn made the expedition even more intense. They were not only dealing with a potentially 1,000-pound bear but possibly a larger Sasquatch as well. Despite the risks, their curiosity propelled them forward, following a trail peppered with numerous gigantic footprints, all leading in the direction they were headed. This shift in focus from the grizzly to the Sasquatch changed the entire nature of their expedition. They eventually found themselves walking out of the dense, moisture-laden forest into a more open area filled with tall grass and sporadic clusters of trees. This was exactly the kind of place where an encounter could go south. Very quickly any hidden animal could suddenly charge out, catching them off guard. The ground felt unnaturally soft, akin to treading on a cushioned surface, making each step uncertain as they navigated this unpredictable and dangerous environment. As they stepped into the clearing, a powerful, foul smell hit them hard, nearly making them gag. It was an odor so intense and unpleasant that it was hard to stay composed. While they were trying to cope with this overwhelming stench, a massive figure slowly started to emerge from the grass, just about 50 feet away. They immediately recognized it for what it was. In a coordinated move, they all ducked down, hiding from view, but this made it difficult to keep an eye on the creature. If the Sasquatch decided to double back, they were in a prime spot for a dangerous encounter. They could hear the creature making some grunting noises. Then all of a sudden, everything went silent. They didn't dare to stand up, fearing any sudden movement might provoke an attack. So, they stayed low, with their guns ready, for what felt like an eternity but was actually just over half an hour. They were tense, every nerve on edge, waiting for any sign of movement in the tall grass that might indicate the creature was approaching. Finally, feeling it was safe enough to make a move, one of them cautiously stood up to survey the surroundings. Seeing no immediate danger, he signaled to the others, and the slowly backed out of the area, making their way to the safety of their boat and eventually to their ship. They decided to call it a day. Too shaken by the close call with the Sasquatch that had apparently just stood up from its resting place in the brush as they ducked for cover. Even after the scare, new signs pushed them to keep going, curious about what else they might find. Tracks of a new threat. Despite the scare, they weren't ready to abandon the site, knowing that a huge grizzly bear was still potentially roaming the area. The next morning, they loaded their gear onto the skiff and headed ashore once again. They approached the forest much like they had the day before, but this time, they didn't find any fresh or grizzly tracks. Instead, they stumbled upon something else. Two sets of Sasquatch prints side by side. One set was noticeably larger than the other. It seemed the grizzly had decided to move on, possibly intimidated by these new formidable occupants of the forest or unwilling to engage in a territorial dispute. Of course, this was a speculation since little is known all about how these creatures interact in the wild. The fact remained, though, the bear was gone, and now they were in other territory of not one, but two Sasquatches. Reflecting on the previous day's events, when they first saw the Sasquatch start to stand, they reacted instinctively by squatting down. The creature, though not fully upright, was still towering at least 4 feet above the high grass. Considering one of them was 6 feet tall, and some of the grass reached beyond his height, they estimated this larger Sasquatch to be between 11 to 12 feet tall. They had taken measurements of its footprints while tracking it through the forest and into the clearing, which supported their estimates. Motivated by these observations, they decided to follow the two sets of footprints as far away as they felt safe. They were deep into the forest, about a mile into their tracking, when they came upon a large, old tree that had fallen and was now covered in moss. The center of the tree's trunk had been freshly torn apart, and both sets of Sasquatch prints were around it, overlapping each other. It appeared that the Sasquatches had been foraging for grubs in other decaying wood. It was a reminder of how even in the wildest parts of nature, many creatures rely on simple survival strategies so similar to what humans learn in survival training, where grubs are considered a viable source of nutrition in tough situations. Realizing they were now on a Sasquatch trail rather than a grizzly hunt, they decided to turn back. Their original mission was to track a grizzly, not a Sasquatch, and with the realization that they were now dealing with two of the latter, they chose to retreat to their ship. A couple of days later, they managed to hunt down a large bear on the other side of the river, a few miles away from where they had encountered the Sasquatch. No further signs or sounds of the Sasquatch were noticed during the rest of their expedition. The encounter with the Sasquatch had left a profound impact on them, especially due to the sheer size and presence of the creature. Facing such a massive being was terrifying. Even armed with rifles, they felt overwhelmingly underprepared in the event of an attack. The creature's size was almost beyond comprehension. If it had decided to charge, their weapons would likely have been inadequate. The encounter was so intense that it seemed surreal. Yet it was very real. The Sasquatch's upper body was shaped somewhat like an old-fashioned kite, with the widest part at the shoulders, measuring about 7 feet across. Its muscle mass was so significant that it almost completely obscured its head from view. They could see only about a third of its head, the rest hidden behind the enormous trapezius muscles. This unforgettable experience highlighted the unpredictability and the inherent risks of venturing into these remote and wild parts of the forest. It was a stark reminder of the challenges and dangers that come with trying to understand, let alone coexist, with the undiscovered and often misunderstood creatures of the wild. The vastness of the wilderness, with its hidden inhabitants and untold stories, continued to draw them back. Despite the risks. Each encounter with the unknown was a learning experience, a moment of intense personal reflection about their place in the natural world and the fine line between observation and survival. To understand what the were up against, it's important to learn the story of this creature that has amazed people for years. The tale of Bigfoot lives on. The story of Bigfoot has woven itself deeply into the fabric of cultural tales and legends worldwide for generations. Commonly known as a Sasquatch in North America, Yeren in China, and Yowie in Australia, the concept of a large, shaggy, ape-like being captures imaginations globally, particularly in the United States. The idea took hold in the late 1950s following the discovery of oversized footprints by loggers at Bluff Creek, California. Events like these, along with the iconic 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, helped cement Bigfoot's place in popular culture. Typically depicted as a towering, two-legged creature covered in dark fur and weighing as much as 800 pounds. Bigfoot remains elusive with no verified physical proof to its name. Scientists discount the notion of Bigfoot's existence, pointing to hoaxes or mistaken identities involving ordinary animals like bears as explanations for sightings. Nonetheless, the fascination with Bigfoot endures, fueled by a blend of cultural narratives, psychological factors, and a widespread desire to believe in the extraordinary. The origins of Bigfoot trace back to Native American traditions throughout North America. In the Pacific Northwest, indigenous tales of a wilder man or hairy giant lurking in the forests have been told for centuries, embedding Bigfoot into a regional lore. These stories, enriched by accounts from European settlers encountering strange beings, have helped shape the expansive mythology surrounding this elusive creature, emblematic of the great unknown and the untamed wilderness. The Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967 stands as our contentious piece of evidence in Bigfoot lore. Captured in Northern California, this grainy video allegedly shows a large bipedal figure crossing a stream. While some argue it's credible evidence, others dismiss it as a simple costume prank. Yet, this footage continues to spark a debate within the Bigfoot enthusiast community. Bigfoot's intrigue isn't confined to North America. Globally, similar mythical beings like the Himalayan Yeti and the Australian Yowie share characteristics with Bigfoot, indicating a universal human intrigue with strange, undiscovered creatures. The widespread nature of these legends suggests a shared human penchant for the mystical and the unknown, manifesting across different cultures and landscapes. Despite no definitive proof, Bigfoot has profoundly influenced American culture, inspiring a myriad of books, films, TV shows, and even tourism ventures in reputed sighting regions. The figure not only symbolizes the questions yet to be unraveled, beauty also connects us to a natural world that many feel is fading amidst modernization. Scientifically and pseudoscientifically, the search for Bigfoot has seen earnest efforts from dedicated researchers collecting eyewitness reports, examining supposed physical evidence, and conducting field studies. Although the broader scientific community remains skeptical due to the prevalence of hoaxes and a lack of solid evidence, the community of Bigfoot believers, or Bigfooters, remains undeterred, hopeful of one day validating their beliefs. The enduring appeal of the Bigfoot legend stems from cognitive biases where desires shape beliefs, the human propensity to perceive patterns, and the vast wilderness that fuels our imaginations. Moreover, Bigfoot has come to embody Americana cultural identity, symbolizing the wild and uncharted, particularly resonant in the Pacific Northwest with its dense forests and imposing landscapes. The legend appeals to our innate curiosity about the extraordinary and unexplained. Despite scientific rebuttals and the absence of concrete evidence, Bigfoot continues to be a celebrated part of popular culture, gracing the media from animation to advertising. This enduring popularity underscores the legend's staying power, embedding it firmly within American folklore. Regardless of Bigfoot's actual existence, Thea legend underscores the potent influence of a myth and our collective yearning for something beyond the tangible, something awe-inspiring. Bigfoot represents more than just a possibly creature. It embodies the vast, unexplored things that still pervade our world. The story of Bigfoot, rich in cultural and psychological significance, continues to enchant and provoke a curiosity across the globe. As we preserve the wilderness and its unsolved questions, the saga of Bigfoot will likely persist, a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and the majestic tales we pass through generations. Beyond Bigfoot, there are many other creatures with stories that show our fears and interests. Creatures from old tales throughout time, different cultures have spun tales of fantastic beings, each reflecting deep cultural beliefs and fears. These mythical creatures, ranging from the terrifying to the protective, have become staples in folklore, influencing everything from literature and art to modern entertainment. Consider the jinn from Islamic myths, powerful supernatural entities often tied to natural elements like fire or wind. Among them, the Efreet is notorious for its fiery demeanor and destructive potential, embodying human anxieties about unseen dangers and the chaos they can bring. These myths highlight our long-standing fears of the invisible and the powerful forces at play in our world. In the lore of ancient Greece, the Hydra stands out to a many-headed serpent that becomes so increasingly formidable as its head's area cut off, symbolizing relentless threats that resist defeat. The legendary hero Heracles ultimately stops the Hydra by preventing the heads from regrowing, illustrating themes of resilience and strategic thinking that resonated with the Greek values of heroism and intellect. From Persian tales comes the manticore, a fearsome beast with the body of a lion, the tail of a scorpion, and a human face. These a creature, capable of launching venomous spines. Represents a blend of the natural world's unpredictability and humanity's deepest fears, creating a formidable myth that speaks to the terror of the unknown. Latin American folklore introduces the chupacabra, a recent addition that has quickly taken root in other cultural consciousness. Known for supposedly attacking livestock and draining their blood, this creature, often described as a reptilian with spiny back and large eyes, taps into local fears of predation and the hidden things lurking in rural landscapes. In Irish folklore, the banshee is our spirit whose mournful cry presages death, embodying the profound fear of loss and the inevitability of death. Often portrayed as a wailing woman with flowing hair, the banshee's legend is a poignant reminder of the power of our fate and the sorrow that accompanies it. Scotland gives us the kelpie, a shape-shifting water spirit that appears as a hostilely unwary to their doom. This legend warns of the perils hidden beneath the natural beauty and teaches caution against deceiving appearances. A common theme in tale is a warning against venturing into the unknown. Japanese myths feature demonic beings with fearsome strength and a terrifying look, often causing disasters and chaos. These creatures, faced down by heroes in many stories, underscore cultural values of courage and the triumph over seemingly insurmountable challenges. Scotland's own Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is a globally recognized figure purported to live in the deep, murky waters of Loch Ness. While mostly known through anecdotal evidence, Nessie represents our fascination with exploring the unknown depths of the natural world, reminding us of the questions that may lie in uncharted territories. Vampires, pervasive across various cultures, are night creatures that feed on human blood, embodying the universal fears of death and the afterlife, while also exploring themes of